You're listening to Zach Ciota, founder of WorkingJoesRoundtable.com, and this is the Working Joes Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Working Joes Podcast. I am Working Joe, Mr. Zach Ciota, and we have a great show coming to you tonight. We have Mr. Ralph Wolf in here for the third week. We're going to wrap up our conversation with him, and it's a story with any good buddies like me and Ralph. We get into talking, and we intend on recording one podcast, and we actually record a three-parter because we just don't know when to shut up. But I guarantee it only lasted 3, so we're going to tackle some new guests coming up next week. You know, here in the future, we're going to have Mr. Brent Ridley on. He's a guy from YouTube a lot of us know and love, a really nice guy, knows a lot about HVAC. We're going to talk to him about a few different issues, maybe the Sporlan Zoom lock, maybe a little carrier inverter talk. We're also going to talk to Mr. NorCal, Dave. I tried to get in touch with Dave, and he was up in Baja riding his motorcycle and wasn't available. So he is a real cool guy. He's like the Dos Equis guy of our group. You know, he's the most interesting man in the world. That's Dave. He works on all the cool stuff. He rides a motorcycle. He loves to surf. He's basically just a cool guy. And we're going to talk to him coming up real soon. But I want to talk to you guys about a few different things. First, tell you about a job. Just a typical owner-style job. What we run into as owners. You know, I'm a technician playing owner, but I still run into owners' issues, obviously. So I got a call from a customer that I've worked for years. I changed her evaporator on her train system like 6 or 7 years ago. It was a long time ago. Changed her evaporator there, an old piston coil train. They moved out of that house, moved into a new house, a very nice house. Still had a train unit. It was an oldie, and it was leaking refrigerant. Had a leaking filter dryer, so I switched that out as well. All right, well, that's well and good. Now, a few more years passed by, and they called me the other day and said, hey, our realtor advised us, because we're selling our home, to replace this train unit because it's probably 20 years old or so. So now it's a good idea. People feel better when they see a nice new shiny AC unit on the side of the house, no matter what brand it is. I know we talk bad about Goodman and we talk about brands like that, but people want to see something new. It doesn't necessarily matter what it is as long as it is new. So I said, all right, that's perfectly reasonable. And I told her, I said, well, I'm not really doing installations anymore. I'd be happy to give you the number for my father. He does installations. She said, okay, that's great. Then she says, do you think he'd install used equipment? And I thought for a second, and I was thinking to myself, I said, oh, I forget that this particular person is very cheap. I said, no, I don't think he'll install used equipment. I really wouldn't want to install used equipment either. It's kind of a mess. And even if it has an issue, and even if you go over the liabilities beforehand, a lot of times the people are like, well, what'd you do? You didn't install it right. It ain't that old. And you get into a lot of back and forth, and at the end of that, you don't get paid. So I told her, nah, probably not. Probably best to install just, if you want to install a cheaper new system, I think you'd better off going that route. Install like your panes or your air temps or something like that, just so they have something new that'll last a while. May not be the best piece of equipment in the world, although I do kind of like Payne. She said, okay, so I'll call him. So she called my father, evidently. And I guess whatever he told her didn't sit well, because she texted me again later and said, what if I buy the unit online and pay you cash? So I thought about this. I said, what kind of way am I going to go attacking this? So what I did was I told her, I said, hey, you know what? How much do you think it's going to cost? Because I wanted to get that right out in the open. I could have shot her a number out there, but this is a typical situation. I'm not really doing installation, but I wanted to see how much do you think it would cost to pay me to install that? And she sends me a text back. I said, I don't know, about $1,000. And of course, that's the wrong answer. That's definitely the wrong answer. And I texted her back. I said, well, you know, it'd be more than $2,000. And I guess she was thinking since she bought the equipment, she's going to, install the unit for $1,000. But you got to think about this, guys. And those of you out there that might be saying, hey, that's still too low. It probably is still too low at $2,000. But if you're thinking, hey, $1,000 sounds like a lot. If you're not an owner or you're just hearing this and you're going, man, that's $1,000. That's cash money right there, bud. You can take that to the bank. Not exactly. Because by the end of the job, you're going to pay for a certain amount of things. You're still on the hook. You're still using your insurances and things like that. So the fraction of every hour that you work goes toward that stuff. So you can probably knock about $30 or $40 off the top of it. Then you got to get your supplies. You know, like if you're Brent, you got to buy your Zoom lock fittings. That's a ton of money right there. Or if you're like me, you know, you go to brazing gases, fittings, any copper that you need, the pad. If you need to replace a thermostat, if it's an older thermostat, you can go ahead and replace it. You're not going to leave some old piece of junk on the wall. Your duct fittings you need, any metal, insulation, that adds up. I always put in, you know, a few $100s worth of supplies for every job. So you cut your 1,000 down to like $500 or $600. Then you drove there probably in a truck. My truck guzzles gas, so you can take another 20 or 30 bucks off of it just for the gas you use driving around picking up the stuff. So you got about half what you started with. And think about it, do you really want to install a unit for half? But oh wait, who's paying for the electrician? It damn sure isn't me at $1,000, of course, because electrician on a typical changeout is going to run you, a few $100. You know, $250, $300 typically, maybe a little bit more if there's something complicated going on. They need to add an outlet or something like that. It's going to cost you a few $100, and of course you're not going to pay for that. But if you did, you'd be down to $200. Oh, what about the permit? They probably weren't intending to get a permit, were they? Probably not. But if they were so inclined, that'd be another $50 or $60 probably, depending on where they were at. Now you're down to around $150. $150, man, that's pretty sweet. I could buy myself like 10 DVDs. And that's what you get into out there. People that say, well, $1,000, like you get to keep $1,000. And it's insane. But that isn't the case. A lot of you owners out there already know this. At $2,000, it's still not a stellar job. They just think because they're buying the equipment, all of a sudden, hey, I mean, you don't have to make any money because they're buying the equipment. And they don't have any warranty. And if someone calls me to fill out a warranty or barter a warranty or broker a warranty, I'm inclined to say no. And that goes back to my thing where business makes the heart grow colder. Because people and customers, they always talk about businesses take advantage of people, but customers do it just the same to the businesses. They don't pay. They make partial payments. They make up their own rules of paying. They want to go buy their own equipment, and then when equipment breaks down, they say, oh, can you go handle the warranty? Oh, no. You bought it online. Why don't you tell the online people to handle it? And when you send them the motor for warranty and 7 years later it comes back, sure, I'll install it, but he's still at like $100 an hour. That ain't fair. Well, life ain't fair, But it really is. You have to make your money. You're going out to work, you might as well make money. That's what I say. The used equipment thing that always makes me laugh. I know some people that are in a bind. My buddy John, he just set a unit for someone that it was used. They were in a bind. Help people out. But a lot of times that's family stuff. It's a whole other dimension of how you handle family is totally up to you. Some people, they won't work for family because they say it just causes too many issues. But if you want to, don't expect to get paid too much because it is family. You got to sort of plan on doing it for free. Because family, they'll be like, hey, I'll catch you up. I'll catch up with you later. Like 5 years later, they said, hey, you know what? You put that AC in for me. Let me buy this hot dog for you. All right, we're square, pal. Yeah, thanks. So let's talk a little bit about the podcast. We have Ralph Wolf on today. We're going to continue talking to him. We're going to get into some more great HVAC issues. Coming up on the podcast, weeks to come, we have Brent Ridley. Hopefully we get NorCal, Dave Shanklin in here to talk to us, and Ralph's going to join me for those. Ralph's going to start sitting in on some of these podcasts and helping me out on the interviews. I think he feels lonely and left out. The third musketeer has nothing to do, so we're going to bring him in here so he can enjoy some fun on the podcasting. I think he'll have a great time, so you'll get to hear Ralph as well and proof that he is still alive and says he is going to make videos. So Ralph's going to make videos. You heard it. I hear it on the phone all the time. Hey, Zach. Yeah, I got a video on my phone right now. I'm gonna upload it. Sure you are. Whatever. We're gonna take him to task. We're gonna tell him each and every week that he's on here, get that video uploaded, even if we have to have him do it while we're recording. We'll get Ralph to make some more videos because I know a lot of guys love Ralph and they miss him, and they want to see some more videos from him, and I do too. So without further ado, let's have a quick music run, and we're gonna get back to the interview with Mr. Ralph Wolf.
It's been like five and a half years. My first video, I think I did it was December, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, actually, I'm on my computer now, so let me go to my About section.
Trying to find out how we're trying to prove that Ralph needs a sabbatical. That's what he's trying to do.
Joined May 26th of 2011.
But that don't mean you make a video.
But I didn't start making a video until December.
Yeah, because I joined up in 2009. Didn't make a video for another year and a half or so.
Yeah, so I mean, I had watched, because people ask me, how'd you start making videos? And it's been so long, I can't even remember.
Well,
I didn't go on YouTube looking for heating and air videos. I just a heating and air video popped up on the side, and so I was like, hey, let me watch that.
Yeah,
and it was probably Dr. Z.
Yeah,
it was probably Dr. Z that I saw at first, and then of course Fritz, and then Mikey, and
Hack Free.
No, actually, he came. He was there, but I didn't see his stuff till later on.
Oh, okay.
Put some stank on it.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember his. He made his video about pulling the thermostat wire, and then he's been missing now for 5 years.
Yeah, we don't know whatever happened to him.
I don't.
So if anybody knows whatever happened to him,
I love it. Or Mikey.
Mikey
disappeared too. So.
Yeah, but he was having some health issues.
I didn't know that. How did you know that?
Yeah, because it was in one of his videos.
Oh, well, I guess I wouldn't be
And he kind of, I think he hurt his neck or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this all came from something. I don't even remember what it was now. Now we're trying to figure out when you started YouTube, and there was some point to this conversation that just got.
Oh yeah, you were talking about you were trying to prove that I was still alive or something.
Yeah, I was talking about that, but I was leading to something else, and I literally have no idea what that was now.
That I was going to start making a video or something.
Yeah, I want you to make videos, but that wasn't even the point I was going for. I was just thinking about that, heading somewhere else. But I have no idea. We were talking about the Zoom lock, and then we talked about you making videos. So, when is your next video coming out, Ralph? 2019?
I don't know. I got some. I have a couple of them loaded up on my phone, but it's just getting the time to sit down and actually edit them.
Oh, I should have let you do that instead of doing this podcast.
Nah, no. I was actually. You're lucky that I was at home to do this podcast.
Right.
But when I pulled in my house today, or pulled up to my house and got out and was getting ready to walk in my door, I hear this noise to my right, and I look down on the other side of my road, and I watched this big ass branch fall from this tree, and it came down in front of my mailbox and around my mailbox. Didn't take my mailbox down, but it opened the door to my mailbox. So I was going to go see my friend, but I couldn't.
That's sweet. Your friend.
But yeah, I was going to go see my friend, but the tree messed me up.
Wow. So this tree checked your mail for you?
Yeah, it checked my mail for me. We could do another podcast about don't let people use your tools.
We could. Right now we're on our third, because 30-minute segments, we're now in the third segment.
It's okay.
No,
I listened to one the other day that Larry Cole was on. It was an hour long.
It was. With those we go about an hour, but I like to keep mine a little bit shorter. Well, typically I'm just alone, so I have to keep them shorter anyway. But this one I'll probably split up. Hey, that means I can go ahead and upload a few and take a break for a while from my personal one.
Or you can do it like, instead of doing it on Mondays, you can load one on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think I will do, just pick one day of the week. It won't be Wednesday because we do our live thing every couple of weeks on Wednesday, but maybe Friday or something like that.
Yeah. Just throw one out there.
Yeah, just toss it out there.
So I go to get my chainsaw, and I've had it for 3 or 4 years, probably 4 years. and if not longer. And I've never used it because as soon as I bought it, um, my ex's cousin needed to borrow it. So I was like, okay, okay. Well, it never came back to the house. And then my son went over there, and he was cutting the tree down, and I said, bring my damn chainsaw back over here. And keep in mind, it's like 4 years old, and I've never even looked at it. When I first got it, I looked at it.
Never looked at it.
I never even touched it. When I first brought it home, I touched it. And then so I go to, tonight was the first night I needed it. And, nuts are missing off of it. There's no there's no lube for the damn thing. Didn't even have any gas so I was like, damn. So I get all that straightened up. I couldn't get the damn thing started. So I had to break out the sawzall with a damn 10-inch blade and cut that stupid branch up.
I had to go HVAC on his ass. Well, that's how those guys cut those pipes in that place for the Zoom lock. It's got their sawzall out and did it.
Yep. So I finally got it moved out of the way, and by the time I got done, it was like 9:00 or whatever. And so I said, well, I guess I won't be going seeing my friend tonight.
Well, I'm glad, man, because John was busy tonight, so we were going to record, so I get to do my personal podcast with my good buddy Ralph, all the way in Georgia.
Hey, I like it. Not that far from you.
No, not really. Not really. In fact, you travel to North Carolina every day almost.
Every couple of days I go to North Carolina anyway.
I don't know. We have time to cover that too.
A long way away from your house.
Yeah, it is a long way. But, other side of the state's about 400 miles from me.
Yeah. So yeah, I go to the lower end of the state, just across the Georgia line, in Murphy, North Carolina.
Yeah, you might as well tell them what you've been doing.
Oh,
well, you led them up to this point. Either I cut it out or you tell them.
Nah, you cut it out or I tell them. Yeah. So in February I went to Las Vegas, and I had a great time. Great time in Las Vegas. And then so I was like, well, hell, I want to come back. So there's a casino up in So I went to Vegas, and I really enjoyed it. And I've got an aunt that lives out there, and a brother and some cousins that live in Vegas. And so I played. We stayed at Circus, and I had enough points where they give me a free room, and I was like, oh, well, that's cool.
High roller.
On my next visit. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the Murphy casino so I can get points and stay at a different hotel. Well, living an empty nest life, I can go up there about any time I want to.
So how much you go up there a lot though, right?
I don't go up there. I went up there last night. I went up there last Friday night and Sunday night. And then I went up there last night, which was Friday.
So, everybody listening, Ralph is basically a gambling addict now.
I am not.
He lives under a bridge in Canton, Georgia, and he fixes air conditioners for bus fare to North Carolina.
Yep. I'm like the Goodman dealer. Instead of fixing Goodmans for gas money,
You're not a good
let
dealer
people use
anymore.
my credit card. Let people use my fill their tank up at the with my credit card and get the cash from them.
With his gas card, he trades his Texaco card for the cash. That's funny.
Yep.
Don't let him lie to you. Ralph is an ardent United Technologies dealer.
Yeah. There you go. Not a carrier, not an ICP, United Technologies dealer. That's me.
Another dimension to the explanation to the customer. I sell United Technologies. Well, what's that? ICP. Well, what's that? Carrier.
Have you ever heard of carrier?
Yeah. Can you get a train?
No, but I can get you carrier. It'll say Carrier on the inside label.
That's funny. Yeah. Returning back to the
It
original
will.
conversation from the very first podcast and going to the ICP plant. Well, you know what? To return back to that just for a second, talking about your factory
Okay.
tour, were there any other
Yeah.
dealers like Carrier or Bryant with you, or was it all ICP guys?
It was all ICP guys.
So they must have a different day and a bigger lounge for the Carrier
Yeah,
guys.
they have a.
There's like a masseuse
They,
back there. You know,
They had a.
is that better?
What are you doing? It sounds like you're slapped. Do that again.
The slap in the back. You
Sounds
know?
like Yeah.
Oh,
Just sound.
Whatever you think it sounds like, everybody, it's not that.
So no, it was all ICPs, and actually, one of the viewers was there.
Oh, you know what? This will be the perfect way to end the podcast. Tell the story.
We were in the meet and greet area of the hotel, and then so we were all in there. We would just be BS, and this guy comes through the door, and after being on YouTube for a while, and I've got like 18. I'm looking at my account now, and I have like just over 18,000 subscribers, and once or twice a month, I'll just be somewhere, and then all of a sudden, this guy will just walk up to me randomly, and at first it kind of freaked me out.
Just strangers walking up to you.
Just strangers walking up to me, and as they get closer, their hand starts coming out like they want to shake my hand.
Like they're going
And
for
in the
their
beginning,
knife.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was like, "What in the world?" And they said, "Hey, I watch your stuff on YouTube." And in the beginning, it was kind of a like, man, okay, because I'm just a guy, just like you, and everybody else. We're all just guys, and but when you watch somebody on YouTube all the time, and you do get to meet that person, it's like you're connected to them.
Yeah, it's local weather girl syndrome.
Yeah. So, we all put our pants on one leg at a time, and there's nobody any better than anybody else. But it's in the beginning it freaked me out, but now I'm just
That's not
I
true.
enjoy getting to meet.
Chuck is better than all of us. Chuck's the best.
I know. Chuck is he's in a whole different category all to himself.
So
And but anyway, but yeah. So I enjoy meeting the people, and we was in the meet and greet thing, and this guy just started walking towards me, and I could tell by the expression on his face he knew me from YouTube. And,
you gotten so good at it now you can just spot him from a mile away.
Yeah, because I was sitting in the Burger King drive-thru one day. I was in the Burger King drive-thru one day, and I looked over at this service van across the parking lot, and he got out of his van, and he was walking towards my truck, and he started walking in front of my truck, and I didn't think anything about it because I thought he was going into the Burger King.
Right.
And he stopped at my window, and it's if you didn't expect somebody to do that, you would be like, man, it would freak you out. You'd be like, what's this guy walking up to my truck? But I already put it together by the time he got to my truck that he was coming to introduce himself because he watches on YouTube.
Yeah. You autographed his testo gauges.
Had my paint pen ready.
Yeah, the paint pen.
My Sharpie paint pen. So
that's pretty cool.
No, it is it's nice to meet. You go somewhere and you never been before, and a guy comes up and he recognizes you because he watches you on YouTube. That is kind of cool, and it's cool to think that we're just normal guys. But because have you ever had somebody walk up to you and say, "Hey, I watch you on YouTube"? And
yeah, I had really. It's been one time that I remember really well. Is I was at Johnstone, and there was a younger guy, who's probably 25, 26 years old, and I'm sitting there. I think it's over in the service section. He walks up, and he shakes my hand. He didn't say anything. He just reached out and shakes my hand. And, kind of person I am, I'm like, who the hell are you? Is it, what I was going to say, but, I try to be tactful and nice. So I was like, how are you doing? And he goes, I really enjoy your videos. I was like, okay, all right. So, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, I will tell this 2 other instances, and then I'll let you go. So, I was getting gas one day at just a convenience store, just getting gas, and I have my back turned, and I'm pumping gas, and I turn around, and the guy's standing there, waiting for me to get done pumping my gas. And I turn around, and he holds his hands out. He's like, "Man, I really appreciate the videos you put out, and blah blah blah." And I say, "Hey man, thanks, appreciate that." And we talk for a few minutes, and we go about our business. But then I'm walking out of the convenience store, and a guy is sitting in his car, and he gets out of his car. He sees me, and he recognizes me, and he gets out of his car and stops me. Said, "Man," holds out his hand, and I watch your stuff all the time on YouTube, and I really appreciate it. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are they're all techs?
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
So just like some homeowners?
Yeah. One guy hadn't done it. He was going to start going to school, but he was watching the guy at the gas pump.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and then I have homeowners, of course, that call me and watching. And one guy said, I watch your stuff all the time, or I've watched quite a bit of your videos. He said, one video I watched, it was your video, but it wasn't on your channel. So,
oh no.
Yeah, it was one of those guys that steal our stuff, and it's such a pain to go after those guys.
Well, Steve made quite a career out of going after them. I've only had it happen a few times.
I've Steve Raridan sent me a link, and then a couple other guys have sent me links to channels that have stole my videos, and all my videos are on their channel, and it's just like I don't have time to do all that work.
Oh yeah, well, you've been working for the appliance guy for like 5 years, haven't you?
Hey, that guy actually did me pretty good. Even though that video, we got all into it, it actually helped me out a lot.
Yeah, it propelled you into stardom.
Yeah, well,
like you said, you have 18,000 subscribers now. You're doing really well.
Yeah,
you haven't made a single video in like 1,000 years or something. Whatever it was. It was before videos. Last time Ralph made a video, everybody, he made it with a VCR tape and uploaded it to the internet. The last time Ralph made a video, it was in black and white. Or it was a Super 8 film or something like that.
Super 8, yeah.
I used to have that when I was a kid.
Teased me.
Super 8s.
They teased me about the Super 8 videos over at the supply house.
Super 8 videos. That's funny.
Yeah, they call my little office out there my studio.
That's funny.
They give me hell over there, but you know what? It's all in good fun.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let me ask you this. We'll do this again. Obviously, this has been pretty fun. We've gotten 3 different podcasts out of this, or I'm intending 3. We'll see how it ends up. What do you want to talk about next time you're on here? Anything you want, friend. Anything you want.
Well, I think we start talking about one thing, but we move on to different things as we're talking about.
This is true.
We don't stay to a scripted.
That is true.
There's
least focused podcast host available is right here.
We don't have any focus because we started talking about what was it we started talking about?
Well, this one I think is going to start with Sporlan, the Zoom lock, and that issue they had because of the cutting the pipes off. But we've talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about refrigerants, and we talked about your factory tour.
Oh yeah. Well, we could go more in depth with the refrigerant deal, but I just, I'm not I'm going to use it because I'm not going to have a choice but to use it. my mind did change a lot on it. So I'm going to still use it. Or I'm going to use it more than what I have been using it.
Okay. Well, we could talk about that. You could talk about your invoice ASAP. You like that? A lot of people have asked about that. I've seen that a lot. And you used that for the longest time. I mean, it's back on my phone now because I have QuickBooks again. So, but I haven't used it like you've used it.
I use it on every. I use it today.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what works for me. There's companies out there that can't use it because they're big companies and they can't use it because it's not really. I don't think it's geared towards big companies. And there may be a way you can set it so people can't see different things in the app, but I don't need that part of it.
Right.
I think if I had multiple guys, I'd probably be using something else.
Yeah,
but for a single guy, it works great.
Yeah, I mean, when I did use it, it worked fine with me. We'll save that for another day. We're going to stop it right here.
Yeah.
Ralph, is great to have you on. It's great to have someone this famous that people see out on the street driving by and go, Ralph Wolf, Ralph Wolf, look this way. Cha-ching! The only HVAC man with paparazzi is Ralph Wolf. I'm glad to have him on here. We'll have you on again real soon. And thank you for coming by.
Hey, man, I enjoyed being here. I wish John could have been here, too.
That's right. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself for all the fun he missed.
It would have been a 4-hour podcast.
You're exactly right. Stay tuned for more exciting podcasts from the Working Joes group, which is going to include our good buddy Ralph Wolf. Stay tuned because the best is definitely yet to come.